Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to a daily dose of Tottenham on tour. Something's weird. Someone's back.
Hey guys, I'm back.
We've had two returns in the space of a week. What's happened? What's happened?
I think Ireland's got to do a deli wave. Come on, let's see a deli wave as you returned. There you go. There you go.
Yeah, it's good to be back. Go for the returning guest, Mr. Ireland. Welcome back to Tottenham on tour.
Thank you. Yeah, good, mate. Good. It's been a very busy year. I've been kind of enjoying the summer so far, and I'm back. I'm back, ready to show myself on screen. I've been doing a lot in the background for the channel, but as far as appearing is concerned, just our timings are a bit off. So when it comes to you guys being in the UK, multiple people in the UK, one guy back here, it's easier to keep the channel going by having you guys schedule function. So anyway, blah blah blah. That's why I haven't been around, but timing today was perfect. So happy to be here. Looking forward to some chat, talking some transfer, hopefully transfer stuff that's actually going to come through and happen. That looking good right now. So looking forward to it.
Ireland, I just have to say, I'm feeling very, very homesick right now, as people know back here. And you saying you're enjoying the summer here, where we're having the wettest summer we've had since I've moved to Canada. I've jinxed the English summer. Yep. And you're saying you're enjoying the summer. I can see your tan.
Damn you!
My homesickness. And the Scotland Yard are teasing me with loads of videos on Instagram. It's 2 months today. 2 months today, I'm home.
All right, well, we're looking forward to it, brother.
Excellent. And Mr. Brian Daigle, how are you doing today, sir? How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm not doing too bad, buddy. It's been another, like I was just saying, another wet day. Keeping busy, and there has been some Spurs developments in a positive kind. So positive as we speak. Hopefully they become ultra uber duper positive. But positive news today.
You ready to get into it, boys?
Let's do this.
Let's go.
Tottenham on tour.
It's the first time that's played, and the three of us have been here at the same time.
That's true.
That's more positive news, but we're going to start with the big-ish news from a couple of journalists. Fabrizio Romano broke it, and I think Paul O'Keefe continued the news. Apparently, Micky Van De Ven is very close to being at Here We Go. So that's exciting, isn't it? Finally, 4 months too late, we've signed the centre-back. We've gone on the pre-season tour. We've done the safety reviews of all the flights we've been on. Finally, we're getting a centre-back. We're going to start with Mr. Daigle firstly. How do you feel about this crazy news from Micky Van De Ven? It's mental. What's happening?
Mate, listen. First of all, isn't it amazing? After a very, very bad day of bad press for them yesterday, all of a sudden a deal that could have been done weeks ago and personal terms agreed weeks ago is now back on. Listen, it doesn't matter which way it gets done. Let's just hope it gets done. You can name all the other defenders that we've been linked with, and there's been a ton of them. But the key element in this summer, and from when we signed Long Gap last summer, was to find a left-sided centre-back.
Yeah,
that was the main objective, to find a left-sided centre-back that can come in and fill a void since my Super Jan has left us. And it looks like, after a long saga and struggle, what we all have at Tottenham, it looks like the 3-year quest is over at long last. And if he comes in, it's a big deal. It's a big deal because that position is now finally sorted.
I'm still holding it a pinch of salt. When I'm in a pinch of salt, I just tip the entire thing of salt over it. Just as until he's holding a Tottenham Hotspur shirt, I'm still salt. How do you take this, Mr. Ireland? It's great news, right? It
is. I'm kind of the same as you, though. I mean, I've gotten a few people on the WhatsApp saying, "Oh, what do you think of this, Ireland?" And I mean, like, this is the same copy paste Fabrizio Romano did a month ago of the exact same news. So until I see a little bit more solidity to it, I'm reluctant. But I do, like, with Paul O'Keefe coming in on it as well, and it seems like it's a little bit more traction than previous previously. It looks very good. And when it comes to replacing, Jan Vertonghen, it's nearly impossible to do. But the same type of player, left-sided, left-footed, likes to get forward. Statistically speaking, his take-ons are very good. His passing, his forward passing is very good. He is young, obviously, which can in some cases be a little bit nerve-wracking, especially coming in without the preseason. He might not start in our first game against Brentford, but he's the right profile of player. And it's I think this is addressing that position at the very least, but we do need some depth in that position across the board that is better than a Dyer on the bench or than a Sanchez on the bench or than anybody else on the bench. So I still think we need one more player that can play arguably either one of those positions that's good enough to back either one of them up when either one of them get injured, because there's an inevitability there, and then we just go down back to where we were before if they don't do that. So reluctant but excited because he looks like a wonderful player.
It's a defender, with a defender, not a forward, not this, not that, not a tea lady, not a car mechanic, a centre back that plays on the left side. It's interesting. It's interesting you brought back that backups and other players that might be able to play. Paul O'Keefe also broke some other news. Apparently, Edmund Tapsoba is also back on the table now officially. Can we get both of them in now that a lot of people have been saying that Tottenham can't get players out whilst this Harry Kane cloud is over the football club. And now that's sort of simmering down because of price. It now looks like we're going for players that Ange Postecoglou asked for at the beginning of the window. But now it seems those have got back on the cards. So, Aki, it's just like, can we get both of them in? Can we do the unthinkable after? Can we do it?
So there's three ways of looking at this. First one, if this was always going to be the case, why did we just do it at the beginning? Yeah. And then literally all this angst and tension and frustration could have been easily avoided. Secondly, is this Harry Kane money? Is it? I'm not saying it is. It's died down. It looks like it's simmering down, but that doesn't mean anything. Is this meeting what happened with Bayern yesterday actually is a lot further than we actually been led to believe, and it's getting done. It could be either way. And I've forgotten the third one. Oh, I said there's three. The third one.
We are officially back.
Mate, it's been such a mate. It's but yeah, you've got to look at it. Or it could be, like you said, or it could be no, the third one I remember isn't Harry Kane related. Maybe Harry Kane with everything simmering down and said, right, listen, I'm staying, but sort this out.
Yeah. Sort
this out now. So so it could be one of three. It could be that they've just decided, hey, we best do this, whatever. But if we get both, I will be amazed.
Yeah.
I will be happily amazed. I will be delighted. I will be dancing up and down the high road, still feeling how I feel. But that will be the defence, what we've desperately needed and has been neglected for so long.
Yeah.
Pretty much sorted. Sorted. But I'm concerned that it could be one of the three that I gave.
Yeah. Mr. Ireland, what's your take on this? Are me and Brian, or Brian and I, if I speak Grammarly correctly, are we being cynical, or have we been burnt too many times? But if we get both those two in, it's brilliant.
It's transformation. It's a transformation of the team. I think when you address 65 goals or whatever the goal differential was, or goals against last season, you address that with two very good young defenders. That give you strength and depth. You can manage, the new system that Ange is obviously going to want to play. You're going to need pace. You're going to need power. You're going to need people who can play the ball at their feet. Both of those players are very good at it. The thing that Tapsoba offers, I think he goes right into the team.
Yeah,
I think he starts against Brentford. I don't think he struggles with the adjustment that maybe Van De Ven might, but I mean, either one. I could be wrong with either one of them. Do we get him? I mean, I think Leverkusen came out and said 44 million, and they weren't willing to sell him. He's their best player. Of course, teams say that, right? You say shit because you want to raise the price, or you want to make sure you get what you think the player is valued at. I don't know. I'm the same as you guys. I'm cynical too. I think there's good reason to be. You know, we've been burned. It's not even cynicism at this point. I just don't believe the media most of the time, because most of the time they're lying. Most of the time it's a story that's been exaggerated to try to make make their Twitter headlines or their Twitter posts get a lot of traction. What I like to see it 100%. That does put us in a scenario, I think, for comfortably competing in the top 4 scenario with Kane staying. Even if Kane left, I would still say that. I think the 2 center backs are more important than keeping Kane. As much as I love Kane, I think in the system, I think Ange has done it previously in other teams that he's managed. He's gotten rid of some of the best players, and they've gone on to win as many trophies as they could that season because of it. Because it's the system that matters more than the players individually. So I think that's going to be what matters. So hopefully, if we don't get in Tapsoba, we can get in somebody else. But I do think the depth in that position has to be addressed still. I think it's two need to come in for me to be really happy. But one of them is a start.
Absolutely. Tapsoba for me becomes the leader of our backline. The amount of clips I've seen, as much as I quite like Romero, he's too hot-headed to be.
He needs control to be controlled. I agree for sure.
Tapsoba is so calm. He's great in the air. He's great at intercepting. He just puts his foot out and he intercepts the ball. He intercepts the play so well for me, and I think if he's immediately our left centre back with Romero, or you put Romero as left centre back and you put Tapsoba, whatever.
You have 3 rotated players that are really good.
That would be absolutely brilliant for me. That would put a massive rocket up. Romero's behind, thinking, God, maybe I can't, because what will happen is if Romero continues to do his stupid outbursts that he does, like get sent off in a European quarter final in extra time, he's going to think, I'm on the bench, because Tapsoba will play right centre back and Van De Ven will play left centre back. And those are 2 calm-headed defenders that know a pressing system, because Bundesliga is very get pressed.
What you got to remember with this as well is Romero now will also have a lot of class alongside him.
Yeah.
For the first 2 years, he's had to be the leader, the most dominant one, the one that was got all the responsibility. And maybe some of the time he has been so rash advanced is because he's so concerned that if they get anywhere near the back that we're up shit creek. So him having quality next to him could be like when anyone played alongside King, like when Alderweireld came for Vertonghen.
When Sanchez came in and played with Vertonghen and Alderweireld and looked like a world leader, the first season, right?
Exactly. So these signings could also be we all know what Romero did in his first season. He became a cult hero. Everyone will remember those 2 crunching tackles against Leicester before Sonny scored that screamer, and the whole crowd were going mad about the blooming tackles as they were Sonny's goals. So I think with Romero
and I don't want that to be removed from Romero either.
Absolutely,
I want him to stay rash because it's who he is. It's like when Delhi lost his edge, he lost his quality. And we all know there's other reasons for that too. I'm not, that's another conversation. But when a player loses their edge, they tend to lose the thing that keeps them motivated, keeps them playing at the top.
Yeah, but it's exciting times. But before we speak about us party in the streets, because there's some more centre back news, but it's not going to be upsetting us. We're going to talk about the Harry Kane situation in terms of Dan Kilpatrick of the Evening Standard, Free Standard. Big up the Free Evening Standard. If you don't know that, every single thing, Free Standard. Love the Evening Standard.
I don't know why I know that, but I know that from somewhere.
Yeah. But they have come out that Harry Kane has told people, and he's told the Evening Standard, in effect, if he plays the first game of the season against Brentford, he's staying at Tottenham for the entire season, because lo and behold, Harry Kane is actually a pretty good bloke, and he doesn't want to mess up Tottenham's rhythm. He doesn't want to mess up Ange Postecoglou. There is a level of respect there already, which is great to see, unlike the previous manager he worked with in Nuno Espirito Santo, who he sort of wanted to throw him out the water because he knew he wasn't good enough. Where do you think this is going? Is he staying? Have Bayern Munich sort of realised they're not going to pay Daniel Levy the money? Because I've been speaking with people in the pub, because I spend too much time in the pub. But when Bayern Munich, they've now upped the asking price by doing what they've done this summer with the shirt fiasco, with talking about Levy in build. They've upped the price, and I don't think they realise that they're going to up the price. Is he going to stay now? Because they've bitten off more than they can chew. They can't bully someone that's been here for 23 years and has us three screaming at him every week, let alone some guy from Germany. What's happening, Aki?
No, but Ben, first thing I'll say about Harry Kane is what you got to remember is Harry Kane saying that if he isn't sold by the first game of the season, he's not leaving, isn't just pat on the back, Harry Kane, great guy, great this, great that. It's brilliant. But then you got to remember the ball's in his court, which means in January onwards, he's leaving for free.
Yeah.
And he can walk over to a Premier League team. So there's that. Not saying that's just it.
Right. Can I quickly interrupt you on that? But just to add to the actual the story was he would stay, and based on the quality of play would potentially sign a new contract. So just
not a new contract.
That was the whole report. Sorry.
Yeah. So that's the whole thing. But that's an easy thing to say. Listen, I want Harry Kane to stay. I want Harry Kane to stay, but it's good that he's saying that, because obviously there is the good part in it. Like, I'm not disrupting Ange, I'm not doing that, but there is the Harry Kane fact that if I do it this way, the ball is entirely in my court, and I do have the possibility of leaving for free. And he can say, yeah, if we're playing well and we're going good, I might sign, or I could sign, but he's going to have one eye on other things. But I don't think we've come to the end of this saga whatsoever. I mean, all I do know is Harry Kane's people have come out and said, listen, he's disgusted with the Bayern shirt thing. He's, from what I've heard as well, he had talks with Bayern, and the Bayern had told him where they were going to go price-wise. This is what they're going to do. This is how they're going to do it. And Bayern have done exactly the opposite. So whereas he thought it may have been a quick, right, I'm back, okay, I'm off, bye. Bayern have been stupid. Bayern have been very, very stupid with doing what they're doing. And this will be the one time that I will give Daniel Levy credit where credit is due. Yeah. Don't try and barter with this man. Don't try and haggle. Don't try and come to terms or play with his game, because you will lose. You will lose if you try and play Daniel Levy. If you're trying to play Daniel Levy at Daniel Levy's own game, you are going to lose.
It's not just that though, Brian, with the low ball. It's as much as we like to slam Daniel Levy, we are Tottenham fans, whereas they have gone out and they've not just slammed him, they have dragged Tottenham through the mud as we're like a tiny club in England. And
just to add to that quickly, they've also dragged Kane through the mud, because Kane's price, he knows his value. He's the best striker on the planet. Like, let's be honest about it. If Tottenham say it's £100 million and they keep lowballing, and he's got to look over at Bayern and go, this is my value. How come you're not? If you want me this bad, you'll pay it, and just get it done instead of just dragging the whole thing through the mud. It's Bayern in the German press have just it's embarrassing from their perspective. They just have no idea what they're doing.
Let me add to that. And I've said it on a few streams as well. This is absolutely carbon copy of what Real Madrid did for Gareth Bale. When these big sharks come to play, and like it or not, Bayern Munich are a bigger shark than us.
They're not a Real Madrid shark, though.
No, they're not. No, but they're one of the big clubs in the world. They swim in the same pool. They may not have the same financial resource, but history-wise, their reputation in their country as being the powerhouse, everything, they swim in very, very deep water. No, but that's the thing. They've come swimming into our pool, and they've come swimming into a pool where they're the big bad shark and think they can do this. And like Markar for Real Madrid, there is a paper out there. I can't remember. I think it's Build or whatever it's called. It is the Bayern Munich paper, and they will do the work for Bayern Munich. We don't see this is the difference here in England. You don't have a Manchester City paper, an Arsenal paper, a Tottenham paper. Over there, they have like the Scudetto in not the Scudetto. I can't remember. If Iggy was here, tell me there's the big Italian paper that back a certain. This is what happens with these teams. In Europe, they have these big, iconic teams, and they have a paper that will go to war with them. It's like we heard at one point, Adidas is from what I was hearing, are prepared to come in and help get the deal over the line money-wise, because Kane's personal contract with Nike is over, and they would have got him on Adidas. So Adidas, because it's a German company and it's Bayern Munich, bang, we'll step in. This is what happens with these teams.
Did you guys see the Build report though yesterday? That's basically was slagging him. Yeah, saying he's not good in the box. He can't play in a team with a possession team. Never mind Pochettino's team for 40
Pochettino.
But like he's not. I know he's older, but he doesn't
anymore. They're managed by Thomas Tuchel, Skeletor himself.
Yeah.
The man doesn't do possession football. He puts 10 men behind the ball, 3 at the back, and hits people on the counter attack.
Yeah,
so it's like they don't know their own team anymore.
But it was a strange report from Build, and again, it's Build. It's the same publication we're talking about here that's supposed to be backing Bayern, right? So I was just confused by it. I think that that's just damage control, so that the deal isn't going to get over the line. So they're going, oh, he's not as good as we thought he is anyway, even though he's been the best striker for how many
10 years almost
in the hardest league to be the best striker. So damage control for me from them, but strange one, and they've just that conglomerate of media are clueless when it comes to how to manage these situations, and they've shot themselves in the foot consistently through the whole process.
You don't disrespect Daniel Levy in a paper and expect to not pay for it. Manchester United did it years ago with
5 million, 10 million, 15 million. Every time you do it, it just keeps going up.
They did it with Berbatov, and they paid for it. They paid £30 million, which was a record at the time for a top. I can't remember what the record was. You don't slag Daniel Levy off in a paper and expect to get away with it.
No,
the man is the most hard-headed owner in English football.
Probably world football. Let's be serious.
Probably. He's hard-headed. In this way, he's actually correct. I make him right, and I don't like to make that. So, but Bayern, you're making back Daniel Levy.
So there's another report here, guys. I'm just reading this. I don't know if you saw this earlier. Also from Build, and of course, who knows what to believe for them. Harry Kane may decide to buy himself out of his final year of Tottenham's contract to help him move to Bayern. This is from figure to believe to be around 20.6 million. Right. So Levy's going to take 20.6 million for him instead of, I guess it would be plus the price. I don't know.
Build have done a.
It's another one from Build, right? Like, what are they doing?
They are panicking. I think they've embarrassed themselves in the eyes of the English media as well, because the English media won't work with them. If a German team comes to the UK and they want to interview them, they have seen this, how petty they are, and they won't want to deal with them because they know that they're trying to hurt an English team. They've burnt a massive bridge,
and it's all eggs in one basket from them. They don't have a backup, or seemingly don't have a backup plan, and so they put everything into this. And now that it's looking like it's gonna fail, they're gonna suffer for it.
I think what we got to add, Ben, to what you put there, where I think they've embarrassed themselves is with a very, very big elite English player, Harry Kane. Look, they got Jadon Sancho over the line. They got Jude Bellingham over the line. There's been a wonderful, thanks to German football, especially with Jude Bellingham, who has just advanced. And today he scored a wonderful goal for Real Madrid in a friendly, an incredible goal. Jadon Sancho yet to be seen, but youngsters are going out there and performing well and then coming back home. Or Bellingham too. So when it comes to those kind of deals, they're getting them done. But when it comes to trying to, I think the last elite English player they took from England is going back to Kevin Keegan's time. And it was Kevin Keegan when he went to Hamburg, I think it was. And obviously it's a different world nowadays. So they've tried to come and take, whereas a lot of German elite players will come to England via Germany or wherever, and those deals will be getting done. Where there's not that much money in the German league compared to the Premier League, they've come over here to try and take a star of the Premier League. Let's face it.
England captain. It's a piss take.
This is the biggest fish. It's not just a big fish. It's the biggest fish.
Exactly.
You're going to pay for him. You don't go to a fishmonger. Say, I'm going to have that really nice piece of Dover sole and only pay like
an anchovy price.
You pay that. It's like, all right, I'm going to get a Dover sole, but. Enough of the Harry Kane news. We're going to end this on some nice light humour because Brian Daigle and I said if Clement Lenglet came to Tottenham, we would do a 5-hour stream of us screaming and screaming how much we dislike this player. But news today, Al Nassr of Saudi Arabia.
Oh, finally, we're getting into that market. Bloody hell, it took long.
Al Nassr are saving Dago and I of doing a 5-hour stream. So Clement Lenglet has apparently got massive interest from Al Nassr. I am so happy. I am so happy. I hope he goes to Saudi, earns loads of money, and never plays in a Tottenham shirt ever again. This might be a 5-hour stream of being Brian, just being like, everything is lovely in the world.
I think people would rather watch that than the screaming about bad long.
No, but I have to say, a vision just came in my head that the Saudi Arabian team offer him loads of money, and then Tottenham come in and offer him less, and he goes, "Yeah, I want to play in the Premier League," and he turns down. He like Mbappe and turns that down and says, "No, I want to play in a bigger league," and comes. That would, could you imagine? But yeah,
it's a shame. I can absolutely imagine that happening. 100%.
I know, but it's a shame because you know what? I think that stream would have been fucking one of the best we've ever done.
That would be a 10-hour stream of us saying, "How dare you take that money?"
Mate, we would have to learn in different languages how to say, "Oh God, here we go," or anything. Listen, he was so bad for us, bad, and he was playing in a back three, which we were told was his best position. He can't play in a back two, or in a back centre two of a back four. And the very thought of knowing we were playing back for a back four and trying to get him back was just screaming, as Conte said last season, club signing.
Yeah.
And it shows how bad Dyer is. If they're going for Lenglet over Dyer, the Saudi Arabian teams, it just shows the level of interest we've got here.
Yeah.
But let's just hope it goes through. 99% of these deals have gone through.
Or at least he doesn't come to us. Who cares?
I hope he has a wonderful life. I hope he gets lots of money, as long as he does not don a Tottenham shirt. What's your view on this, Mr. Ireland? What do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not as harsh as you guys on Lenglet. I mean, I don't think he's a good player. I would not want to see him at Spurs. I'm not going to do a 5-hour stream with you guys. I might hop on for a half an hour and have a laugh, but I'm not doing the full 5. But yeah, I mean, he's not a player that we should be looking at. He was in one of the worst defenses we've had in the Premier League era.
Yeah.
In a Tottenham shirt, playing in the left side, and played most of the games. It does scream cheap option, desperation, can't find a player who can kick with his left foot in that position, so we're just going to take a guy we know. I would be really upset if it did happen. I don't know how much there was in some of those rumors that he was potentially coming back. Maybe it was for depth, but again, a lot of the stuff that I'm reading on Twitter these days, it's pinch of salt. I'm like, whatever, man. Until I see it see the holding the shirt, or there's it's the right person talking about it with the right language, then I kind of don't put a ton of value into it. I don't need to stress myself out, especially when it's summertime in Toronto and I'm trying to enjoy.
Makes me homesick.
Like, this is the thing about silly season, man. Like, transfer season coincides with my vacation, and my vacation is more important than being stressed about transfers. So I'm going to let you guys be stressed about transfers, and I'm just going to come on when there's good news. And today there's good news.
You're going to be a glory hunter. You're going to be a glory hunter.
Whatever. I don't care. I'm a summer glory hunter. I'm going to enjoy.
There's no glory with
it's off otherwise.
There's no glory.
We'll see in a couple of weeks, so we can be miserable together in England.
Absolutely. But there is a final bit of news in terms of Ange Postecoglou wants to keep Giovanni LoCelso as part of his team. Does that spell the end of Ndombele? Has LoCelso impressed during pre-season? What's your take on this?
I mean, I haven't seen enough games in preseason to know, because we haven't played any, because our preseason's been a debacle.
Yeah, they're doing the in-flight information.
Yeah. But what I've seen in the games he's played, the two halves that he's played in actual competition and in training, he looks very sharp, and he looks like a Postecoglou player, which is what we need. Like, the thing about his systems is you need specific players in specific positions to be able to take the instructions and do them really, really well. And that's what we're seeing from him. And he looks really happy doing it, which is something we have not seen at Spurs. He came in, he was under Pochettino first season. And then, that was in the season where we were sort of started to become in transition. and then he's played under defensive, and then he's been loaned out, blah, blah, blah. It hasn't been a good place for him. He now looks happy. I'm happy with him coming back. I never had an issue with him other than he was always looked better for Argentina than he did for Tottenham. But there's arguably for good reason, based on what I just said, is that the evidence shows that he was playing in sides that didn't suit the style of play. He's a perfect one of the sixes, I guess it would be in the Ange system. And he looks very dangerous. Looks like he's going to score goals. He's going to create. And it's gonna be a fun watch. So I'm all for it. And yeah, I mean it'll be. I hate to use the cliche, but it'll be like a new signing. It really will, because of what he'll offer.
Will this be the end of Ndombele?
Yes. Sorry, I meant to say that. There was news about that today as well. Looking like I think it's Besiktas or Galatasaray. Yeah, Turkish team that's looking at him for about 11 million, which is the price I saw. Sayonara. I mean,
sell him.
We all had the sort of maybe he'll make it in the system. He immediately gets injured in like the first opportunity he gets to play. As much as like he looks great in training and he's a very wonderful footballer as far as the skill set's concerned, he doesn't have the energy to play in an Ange system either. So I say sayonara, and to get whatever money you can, and we need to trim the squad as it is. So yeah, thank you for your non-service.
Yeah, absolutely. Achi, what do you think of LoCelso?
The guy was brought in by Pochettino to play attacking football. We all know what happened with Pochettino. We all know what every single manager wasn't before, after. It wasn't an attacking type player. I keep going back to the season where we had the Amazon documentary. There were times when Kane and Son were injured. He was our best player by far. By far our best player in that first season in some occasions. And then there was talk about his attitude, his way of playing. But listen, when Leo Messi raves about you, you've got to have something. Whenever he goes to Argentina or Spain, he does well. He's come back and he's got a lot to make up for. And all he can do in the 2 appearances he's had is put in a good performance. And not only has he scored, he's dictated the game. Yeah. He's made changes. I said he's definitely earned himself till January to see if this is a flash in the pan or whatever. And I was under always the impression that if I had to choose between LoCelso having another opportunity and Ndombele, I'm LoCelso every single time.
At least
although I will say Ndombele going to Turkey is the weirdest thing, because it is very, very physical there. And the challenges. One of my best mates are Turkish and is a big, big Fenerbahce fan. And when I used to go around to his house and his family, they had the Turkish TV and watch it. Some of those games were like MMA fights.
Yeah.
So I can't see him adapting well in Turkey. But you know what? Because of all the potential in the world you had, but your lack of aptitude, only teams in these kind of regions, unfortunately, are going to be like, right, let's take a punt on him. He'll be a big name here, big for the game, big for this. And it's for him to make his redemption and try and get his career back on track. But yeah, so goodbye, mate. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. And let's see what LoCelso does.
Absolutely. I'm going to quote a Mr. LA Knight and just be like, sell him now. Yeah.
Nice.
Absolutely. Get him out the door as quickly as possible. But we've run out of news, guys. So we are actually going to wrap it up here. But thank you to Mr. Ireland for coming back, mate.
Thanks for having me, guys. I'll be in England in a couple of weeks. I'm going to be at the Man U game. I'm guessing there's going to be protests. You'll see me in the morning before the game as well. And I'm gonna be the hypocrite of the day. I'm going to go to the protest, and then I'm going to go right into that fucking game and watch some football and enjoy it. I
go every week.
I know, fair enough. I don't get to make it to I don't make it to England that often. I haven't seen the new ground yet, so pretty excited about that. So if you're around, come say hello. I'd be happy to meet some people, and I know that's going to be
great. It's just going to be. Unfortunately, Danny is late again, and he's going to be back in 10 months because he likes to, what's it called? It's
Danny rolls.
But we will talk about Ireland's trip to London very, very soon. But thank you all so much for watching this preview. We'll be back soon. We'll be back soon for some more chats, for more streams, and hopefully it's great. But as always, for me, if you smell what the Kauff is brewing, and take it away, Aki.
And as always, Levy out.
Beer.